Only time separates us from the grave. As you read this page, Newman is out there somewhere, dying. His eyes roll up to the heavens, and deep inside his head, the various memory location cells flicker their last brief random message, and then go out forever. On centre stage, ladies and gentlemen, will you please give them a warm welcome for the last time, Newman's fading mental circus, Typhon, Siegfried, Adam Cadman, Prospero, Casanova, Jack Frost, Kubla Khan, Trelawney, Manfred von Richthofen, Dick Grayson, Patanjali, Moses, Bouldieu, Oberon, Alistair Crowley, Puddleglum the Marshwiggle, Jim Bowie, Fletcher Christian, Circe, August Strindberry, Morgan Le Fay, Hannibal Barker, Naja, Louis the Sun King, Uncle Tom Cobley, Mark Feld, Harry Houdini, The Sandman, Dr. Doom, Catullus, Electra, Mr. Flay, Count Brass, Sir Richard Burton, Robin Locksley, Geronimo, Bill Sykes, Max Ernst, Alexander the Great, Guy Fawkes, Frida Kahlo, Gala Dali, the Archangel Gabriel, John Smith. Names, places, and events. Here's Newman struggling from the wreckage of Glenn Miller's plane. Now his Eskimo wife sponges his split head as the smell of burning oil fills their sealskin tent. Newman bayoneted, tangled in barbed wire, gasping. Newman with his eyes peacefully closed in a quiet private hospital. Newman sacrificed to the crocodile gods who live in the Black Lake while the African sun lopes across the timeless sky. Newman caught unawares in bed with his brother's wife. Fratricide. Newman ODing on memory, turning purple, his eyes bulging like a guppy. Newman trampled by horses. Newman crashing his silver Porsche into the uncaring rails of the Autobahn. Newman the explorer, his canteen empty, 100 miles from the nearest drop of water, a picture of his son crumpled in his cracked and sunburnt hand. Newman as a boy struck down by an overwhelming and incurable bubonic plague, while his medieval daddy looks on and wrings his hands with despair. Newman poisoned by Caligula, Newman tortured by the Inquisitors, Newman dying at birth, Newman standing on a window ledge of the 53rd floor while the crowd of New Yorkers below mentally urge him to jump, Newman the lion tamer, struck down by the angry whim of the big cat, Newman in San Francisco 5 minutes before the earthquake hits, Newman in Nagasaki, Newman electrocuted by his guitar on stage at the Isle of Wight, Newman suffering terrible chest pains after a large meal in the retirement village, Newman with scurvy aboard the Golden Hind, Newman as innocent victim of a stray piece of flying metal one cold October morning in Belfast, Newman hunted, persecuted, obliterated by his own people. And then it's black, silent, still. He's walking through heaven with Jesus at his side, and all around Negroes and Caucasians and Orientals and Occidentals are strolling arm in arm through an endless, immaculate English garden, while the peacocks and tigers and gazelles and unicorns dot the landscape. The magnificent face of Jehovah glows down, and the people are all smiling and saying, "I'm glad we made it." But there's another Newman in a different paradise, lying stoned in a garden of delights, sucking an ice-spiced lassie through a straw, while a dusky handmaiden fillets him to an exquisite orgasm. And Newman's in Hades, flitting abstractly through a phantom Greece as Achilles, Paris, and Hector hunt their ghostly quarry. In Valhalla, he's blowing the froth off a jug of mead, a great fire roaring in the hearth. He's arm wrestling with Leif Erikson when the door bursts open and there stands Thor come to join the revelry. Newman riding a palomino through the virgin America, of the happy hunting ground, forever chasing the inexhaustible herds of buffalo that lead him through plains, prairies, and marshes. Dreamtime, and Newman's walking through the scrub to a vast inland lake with his beautiful Aboriginal wife and their children, and it's if the factories never belched one puff of vile smoke into the pure heat of the shimmering air. The land is alive again with all the lizards and kangaroos and bunyips and great snakes that were chased away by the pale cruelty of the trespassers. Newman linked telepathically with his tribe, strong and gentle. Newman just a particle, reunited with the white light, the cosmic all, his ancestors, every man and all things. Newman imploding into joy. Newman understanding everything. Newman the perceiver, the object and the perception. Electricity, power, energy burning eternal in the flames of limbo, in hell, in purgatory, in nirvana, in bohemia, in utopia, or reincarnated as an antichrist in Palestine, as a gardener in Melbourne, as a housewife in Paris, as a ballet dancer in Moscow, as a drummer in Adelaide, as a jailer in South Africa, as a monoped on Mars, as an Ant-Man on Andromeda 3, as a god in the universe next door, as a star blinking and winking and burning and falling in the prehistoric night before creation itself, as you, earthed